Hello, friends. I hope you are fine. Today, the podcast is about Rahu in second house. As I have said over and again, that Rahu and Ketu are the planets of general malefic nature. One can't expect anything positive out of it. And Rahu, indeed, Taurus sign becomes exalted. There is no doubt. And if Rahu is afflicting its house of placement in the second house, then it becomes a matter of concern. There will be disintegration in family. There will be loss of status, wealth, reputation. There will be intestinal problems, and there will be problems to father. There will also be divorce if Jupiter or Venus are utterly weak in the chart. So this is the problem here will be quite severe, because Rahu is malefic planet on the one hand. On the other hand, it's exalted. So when a malefic planet gets exalted, it creates severe problems. Also, when it gets debilitated, it creates severe problems in both the cases. So it creates more problems when it gets exalted as a malefic planet. And so in the Taurus ascendant, Taurus sign, it gets exalted, and if it is afflicting its house of placement, it will create these issues, these problems to the native. So there will be problems with respect to career also, isn't it, in this case? However, if Rahu is not afflicting its house of placement in the second house, it will make the person politician, and the native will be desirous of earning status in whatever field he is in, isn't it? And there will be calmness in the family. There will be good relations with the family. There will be nice relationship with the life partner also, and the status, reputation, and wealth of the native, that will get safeguarded to the great extent in such a case when it's not afflicting. In both the cases, as I have mentioned, that Rahu should be strong, isn't it? In fact, it's for example exalted in this sign here in case of Aries ascendant, but it does not mean that it will be strong, isn't it? 5 degrees, it may be 1 degree, that's not strong. It may be 4 degree, that's not strong, isn't it? So it should be strong itself, then only the results are viable. So do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos like this. And you can't remove now Rahu from the second house. What you can do, you can remove the malefic influence of Rahu, and that is possible with the constant remedies. However, Mars should be utterly strong in the chart. Mercury should be utterly strong in the chart. Jupiter should be utterly strong in the in the chart, in order to get safeguarded from the afflictions of Rahu in the second house. The native will get relief to some extent despite the affliction of Ketu if the concerned planets I mentioned are utterly strong. On the other hand, if Rahu, if the Lagna rises in a Rahu nakshatra, and Rahu gives afflictions in the chart, and it becomes a cause of concern for the native, such a person have to face, serious issues in life, the specific issues that I have mentioned. So these are the main points regarding Aries ascendant with Rahu in the second house. Now let us come to the Gemini ascendant. So far as let us come to the Taurus ascendant chart. So far as Taurus ascendant natives are concerned, Taurians, remain unstable by health and by other issues also, because they are prone to transit afflictions quite much, but there are proper remedies to stabilize their health. However, we are here with the podcast of Rahu in the second house. As I have said, that Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature. One can't expect anything positive out of it, isn't it? One can't expect anything positive out of it. So if it is afflicting its house of placement, it becomes a cause of concern, a matter of concern for the native. If it is afflicting its house of placement in the second house, it leads to disintegration in family. It leads to loss of reputation, status, and wealth. It leads to divorce also. It leads to intestinal issues. It leads to career problems to career as well. When Saturn is utterly weak, and it leads to problems to father. So these are the main problems when Rahu is placed in the second house, where Rahu afflicts its house of placement in the second house. In case, so these things will happen during the Antardasha of Rahu. In case, Rahu is not afflicting in its house of placement in the chart, the native will be, Rahu should be strong. If Rahu is not afflicting its house of placement in the chart, there, the native will be politician, and he will be desirous of earning status in whatever field he is in, isn't it? So also that person will be, he will be telling lies, and he will have orientation towards dirty talk as well. So these are the main results when Rahu is placed in the second house. However, if Venus, Saturn, and most probably Venus and Saturn are utterly strong in the chart, the effect of Rahu will lessen despite its affliction in the chart. So do subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos like this, and enjoy the content. Gemini ascendant, Rahu in the second house. Do subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the videos, for upcoming videos like this. Gemini ascendant, Rahu gives good results to Gemini ascendant, to Geminians, but there are exceptional cases, there are conditions, as I mentioned. As Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature, one can't expect anything positive out of it like other planets. And Rahu becomes a matter of concern when it afflicts its house of placement in the second house, or any other house rather, when it afflicts its house of placement. And if it does not afflict, it gives good results, and in both the cases it should be strong. Then only we can define the results of Rahu in such a way. Now here it's placed in the Cancer sign in the second house. If Rahu is afflicting in the second house, it will lead to disintegration of family, and it will lead to divorce. There will be loss of status, reputation, and wealth, and there will be intestinal issues, there will be issues with father, there will be problems to career as well. So these are the main problems, and there, the native is able to the native is oriented towards dirty talks, isn't it? And he tells lies also. So because of this, he becomes, he loses reputation in the society mainly. So these are the main issues. However, moon should be utterly strong in this case, isn't it? In order to control the effect of, in order to safeguard the significations of second house to some extent, moon should be utterly strong. So in such case, the effects of Rahu, the effects of Rahu on the second house will lessen to some extent. Now when Rahu is not afflicting the second house, its house of placement, then such a native will be a politician, isn't it? He will be desirous of earning status in whatever field he is in, isn't it? And the other things will be normal. There will be good ties with family, there will be good ties with life partner as well. So the issues of divorce will be there when Venus and Jupiter are utterly weak in the chart, isn't it? So such a problem will happen, and there will be issues with right eye as well, isn't it? Right eye will be involved to the great extent, as I have seen in many cases, due to the affliction of Rahu in the second house. And if any other planet is conjunct with Rahu, that becomes a double problem in such a case. So these are the main points that one has to take into consideration while dealing with Rahu in second house. In case Lagna rises in a Rahu Nakshatra and Rahu gives afflictions in the chart, that becomes a cause of concern. That is a extremely strange problem one has to work on. What you can do, you can't remove Rahu from second house, but you can remove the malefic influence of Rahu, and that is possible with the consistent and regular remedies. And this is what comprises the scope of astrology, isn't it? So do subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon necessarily, and like the videos as well. Cancer ascendant native. So far as Cancer ascendant native is concerned, Rahu creates mess As Saturn is most malefic planet for the native, Rahu creates deadly problems to the Cancer ascendant native. So, as I have said that Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature, one can't expect anything positive out of it. So when Rahu is afflicting its house of placement in the second house, it leads to disintegration in family. It leads to divorce when Venus and Jupiter are weak in the chart. It leads to loss of status, wealth, and loss of status, reputation, and wealth. And it leads to intestinal issues as well. It leads to father problems to father, and it leads to career problems as well. However, if Sun, Jupiter, you know, if Sun, Jupiter, Mars, and Moon, they are utterly strong in the chart, the native will get safeguarded despite the affliction of Rahu in the chart. This is the main point to be considered, isn't it? I'll repeat, if Sun, Jupiter, Mars, and Moon, they are utterly strong in the chart, especially the strength of the Sun here will play an important role. So the native will get safeguarded from the impact of Rahu in the chart. However, if the said planets are utterly weak, especially if Sun is utterly weak in the chart, it becomes a matter of concern for the native. Such a native is not able to come out of the problems of Rahu. So there are issues with the family, there are problems to right eye also if Sun and Moon are weak in the chart, isn't it? So if Rahu is not afflicting its house of placement in the second house, such a person becomes, politician if Rahu is strong, if Sun is also strong, and such a person is desirous of earning more and more, status in the society. And when afflicting, one is also that he, tells lies, and he is oriented towards doing dirty talks. So such are the results of Rahu in the second house. Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos like this. Now Leo ascendant chart, do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos like this. As I have said that Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature, one can expect anything positive out of it. Rahu, when afflicting in the second house, it leads to disintegration of family, it leads to divorce when Jupiter and Saturn are weak, and Saturn, Venus and Jupiter are weak in the chart. It leads to loss of reputation, status and wealth in the society if Mercury is weak in the chart. It leads to intestinal problems when Mercury is weak. It leads to problems to father when Jupiter or Sun are weak, and it leads to career issues as well, especially when Mercury is weak. So these are the main problems. However, if as I said that if Sun is strong, Mercury is strong, Saturn is strong, isn't it? These are the issues, these are the planets. If they are utterly strong in the chart, Jupiter is also strong in the chart. So if these planets are strong in the chart, the native will get safeguarded despite the affliction of Rahu in the chart, isn't it? Such a person will be telling lies and will be doing dirty talks also. And these are the main results of Rahu in the second house. However, if Rahu is not afflicting its house of placement in the second house, such a person will be a politician, or given Rahu is strong in the chart, Mercury is also strong in the chart, and such a person will be desirous of earning more and more status in the society. So these are the main issues that one has to take into consideration while dealing with Rahu in the second house in case of Leo ascendant chart. However, Sun should be utterly strong in the chart. There are problems when it is afflicting. There are problems to right eye also, especially when Sun and Moon are weak in the chart. So these are the main issue points that have to be taken into consideration. What could be done? You can't remove Rahu from the second house but you can rule the malefic influence of Rahu by doing the consistent remedies. So this is what comprises the scope of astrology, isn't it? Now Virgo ascendant chart, Virgos are quite childish people, quite innocent people, clear at heart, isn't it? Their personality is such, one is unable to understand them on usual grounds. That's why their life becomes quite strange, because no one usually is unable to understand them. So that is the fact about Virgos. However, I have something in my mouth. I am not able to understand what is it. And now, Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature, as I have said that it creates deadly problems in case of all the ascendants usually. When Rahu afflicts its house of placement, it becomes a matter of concern. If Rahu is afflicting its house of placement in the second house, it will lead to disintegration in family. It will lead to divorce if Venus and Jupiter are weak in the chart, and it will lead to a loss of wealth, status, and reputation. It leads to intestinal issues. It leads to problems to father. It leads to career problems as well. So these are the such a person also does tells lies, and he also does dirty talks, isn't it? He also does dirty talks. So such a person is involved in dirty talks as well. And these are the main main results of Rahu when Rahu is afflicting its house of placement in the second house. However, if Venus, Saturn, Mercury, Jupiter, uh, these planets are utterly strong in the chart, the native will get relief despite the affliction of Rahu in the second house, isn't it? However, the strength of Venus should be, there in order to get relief, despite the affliction of Rahu in the chart. And in case Rahu gives affliction to the second house, Venus is weak, there will be issues with the right eye, especially when Sun is weak, on the other hand, in the chart. When Rahu is not afflicting, such a person will be politician, given Rahu is strong in the chart, and um, such a person is desirous of earning more and more status in the society, isn't it? So, on the other hand, if Lagna rises in the Rahu Nakshatra and Rahu is quite strong in the chart and Rahu is not afflicting, and that is a blessing. If Rahu is afflicting in such a case, that is a problem. So under given conditions, Rahu gives good results. We can utilize the effects of Rahu, and we can utilize the effects of Hazonite. But under given conditions, it's quite difficult to recommend Hazonite in case of Virgo ascendant. Although it gives good results, but one has to be cautious because it's many things have to be seen in the chart and in other divisional charts before recommending gemstone for Rahu, because it's a planet of general malefic nature. Anything can happen. So these are the main point. Do subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon, and all get notified for the upcoming videos like this. Now, Libra ascendant chart. So Librians, Venus should be utterly strong, being your ascendant lord. Now Rahu in the second house of, in case of Libra ascendant, it becomes debilitated, isn't it? This is a problem again. As I said that Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature. One can't expect anything positive out of it. And now when it gets debilitated, isn't it? It will create mess to the native during its Antardasha. Now Rahu, when afflicting its house of placement in the second house, it will lead to disintegration in family. It will lead to divorce also when Mars, Venus, and Jupiter are weak in the chart, and it will lead to loss of wealth, status, and reputation. It will cause intestinal issues. It will cause problems to father. It will cause problems in case of career also. However, if Venus, Mars, Moon, Jupiter, Saturn, these planets are utterly strong in the chart, then it will get safeguard from the ill effect of Rahu. He will get safety from the ill effects of Rahu despite its affliction in the chart. So when Rahu is not afflicting its house of placement, it leads to a person being politician, and he's desirous of earning more and more status in the society. And also when afflicting, the person tells lies and he's involved in dirty talks also. So these are the main results of Rahu in the second house. So what can be done? You can't remove Rahu from the second house, but you can remove the malefic elements of Rahu, isn't it? By doing the consistent and regular remedies for Rahu. And do subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos like this. Here, as I said, that Rahu will create a severe problem in case Rahu is afflicting in the second house, because Rahu is debilitated, and when malefic planet is debilitated, that becomes a cause of cancer, isn't it? It creates severe problems in both the cases, as I've said. In case malefic planet is exalted, in case malefic planet is debilitated, it creates problem during its Antardasha, and irrespective of Antardasha as well, if it's afflicting its house of placement in the second house. So these are the main results. Now Scorpio ascendant chart, in a Scorpio ascendant chart, Rahu does not give good results at all, and as I have said that Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature, one can't expect anything positive out of it. Rahu, when placed in the second house, Jupiter should be utterly strong. Some writers say that Jupiter gets, Rahu gets debilitated in, Sagittarius, but it will depend on the strength of Jupiter in this case. I don't consider this to be true. Rahu gets exalted in Taurus and debilitated in Scorpio. But some writers, classical writers, have said that it gets debilitated in Sagittarius also. But my view is that it's not solely true. It's not, generally true. It depends on the strength of Jupiter in every case. If Jupiter is utterly strong, it won't create any problem. There will be no problem during its dasha or antardasha, no problem. Rahu should be strong, and its lord, that is Jupiter in this case, that should be strong. Its disposer should be strong. In this case, it's not debilitated, isn't it? So Rahu, when afflicting its house of placement in the second house, it will lead to disintegration in family. It will lead to loss of reputation, wealth, and status in the society. It will cause divorce also. There will be issues that the native will be lying, and the native will be involved in dirty talks. There will be problems to intestines, problems to father, problems to career as well. However, if Jupiter, Mars, isn't it, Saturn, Sun, these planets are utterly strong in the chart, the native will get security despite the affliction of Rahu in the second house, isn't it? If Rahu is not afflicting its house of placement in the second house, it will give good results. Such a native will be politician, given Rahu is strong, given Jupiter is strong, and such a person will be desirous of earning more and more status in the society. So, and other issues, no signification, the second house won't get disturbed. There will be good relationship with family ties, good marital relationship, good status in the society. So these are the results of Rahu in the second house. However, if Lagna rises in the Rahu nakshatra and Rahu gives afflictions, Rahu afflicts its house of placement in the chart, it becomes a matter of concern and for the native. So what you can do, you can't remove Rahu from second house. Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon. So you can't remove Rahu from second house, but what you can do, you can remove the malefic influence of Rahu. That's what comprises the scope of astrology, isn't it? Now Sagittarius ascendant chart. In case of Sagittarius ascendant, the issues will be like that. As I said, that Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature. One can't expect anything positive out of it. Here in Capricorn, it will create more problems because its lord is not defined here, isn't it? Now Rahu, when afflicting its house of placement, it causes disintegration to family. It causes loss of reputation, wealth in the society. It causes divorce. It leads to intestinal problems, it leads to problems to father, and it leads to issues in career also. And one will be involved in dirty talks, and one will be telling lies, and lies. He'll be quite a sickle full liar, a professional liar. In this case, when Rahu is afflicting its house of placement in the second house. However, if Rahu is not afflicting its house of placement in the second house, the person will be a politician, given Rahu is strong, and such a person will be desirous of earning more and more status in the society. There will be good ties with family, there will be good marital relationship, there will be good status in the society. So these are the main results of Rahu in the second house in case of Sagittarius ascendant. However, in order to get safeguarded from the impact of Rahu, Saturn, Jupiter, Mercury, these planets should be utterly strong in the chart in order to get some relief despite the affliction of Rahu in the chart. Now what you can do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos, and by doing so you will get relaxed and the impact of Rahu will lessen by subscribing to the channel rather. Isn't it? So because you will get more information, your knowledge will increase, and it will lead to the relaxation of your mind. Now what you can do, you can't remove Rahu from second house, but you can remove the malefic influence of Rahu by doing the consistent remedies, isn't it? So this is all about Rahu in second house in case of Sagittarius ascendant chart. Capricorn ascendant chart, here it's one of the nice placements for Capricorn ascendant. However, there are reasons, as I've said, that Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature. One can't expect anything positive out of it. As I repeated over and again, Rahu, when afflicting its house of placement, it leads to disintegration in family, it leads to divorce, it leads to loss of reputation, wealth, and status in the society. It leads to marital issues as well, and it leads to intestinal problems. It leads to problems to father. It leads to career issues as well. One is involved in dirty talks, and one is a liar, isn't it? One tells lies. He's such a professional liar, isn't it? So these are the results when Rahu is afflicting its house of placement in the second house. In case Rahu is not afflicting its house of placement in the second house, the person will be politician, given Rahu is strong, Saturn is strong in the chart, and one is desirous of earning more and more status. There will be good ties with the family, good marital relationship, good status in the society. So in case Rahu is not afflicting and Rahu is strong in second house, so these are the main results when Rahu is placed. However, if Saturn, if Mercury, Sun, Venus, these planets are utterly strong in the chart, the native will get safety. The native will get relief despite the affliction of Rahu in the chart, isn't it? He will get safeguarded, because these will help in lessening the effect of Rahu in the chart. These planets should be utterly strong in the chart. So on the other hand, if nakshatra rises in the Rahu nakshatra, that's a blessing for this native. But if Rahu, if Lagna rises in the Rahu nakshatra, and Rahu on the other hand gives afflictions in the chart, that becomes a matter of concern for the native, isn't it? So there will be issues in the right eye as well. If Sun is weak and Moon is weak on the hand, there will be issues with the right eye. And if other planets are afflicted by Rahu, that becomes a matter of concern. That is the subject matter of other podcasts that will be upcoming. Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos like this. Now, Aquarius ascendant chart. In case of Aquarius ascendant, Rahu gives good results rather, but not as much good results as it gives in case of Virgos, in case of other two ascendants rather. I won't like to mention them, but here I like to mention that Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature, as I have repeated over and again, and one can't expect anything positive out of it. And if it is afflicting its house of placement in the second house, it leads to disintegration in family, loss of wealth, status, and reputation in the society. It leads to divorce, it leads to problems in intestines, it leads to problems to father. There are problems in the professional area as well. One is involved in dirty talks, one is a clear-cut liar, so he'll be telling lies. So these are the main issues, main problems, and main results that Rahu gives when it afflicts its house of placement in the second house. In case Rahu is not afflicting its house of placement in the second house, it gives good results. One becomes a politician, given Rahu is strong by degrees, and one is desirous of earning more and more status in the society. There are good ties with family, good marital relationship. However, if Venus, Jupiter, Sun, Mercury, and Saturn, these planets are utterly strong in the chart, the native won't face such issues to such an extent out of the affliction of Rahu in the chart. In the affliction, the ill effects of Rahu will get lessened by the strength of the said planets, and the problem becomes worsened when the nakshatra, the Aquarius sign rises in a Ketu nakshatra. When the Lagna rises in a Rahu nakshatra, and Rahu gives afflictions in the chart. Rahu afflicts its house of placement in the chart, isn't it? That becomes a matter of concern in such a case. The native is unable to understand what is happening in life, but such things happen. So what could be done? Firstly, do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos like this. You can't remove Rahu from second house, but you can remove the malefic influence of Rahu, and this is what comprises the scope of astrology. This is what astrology is for, isn't it? So that is possible with the consistent remedies for Rahu, isn't it? Charities for Rahu. Mainly charities play an important role. So these are the main main points that have to be taken into consideration while dealing with Rahu in the second house, isn't it? Now let us come to the Pisces ascendant. Pisces ascendant, do subscribe the channel. Firstly, do and and hit the bell icon in order to get notified for the upcoming videos like this. Rahu, as I said, that Rahu creates mess in case of Pisces as well, isn't it? Because Saturn's most malefic planet in this case. And as I said, that Rahu is a planet of general malefic nature. One can't expect anything positive out of it, and it gives worse results when it gives affliction in the chart. If it is afflicting its house of placement in the second house, it leads to disintegration in family, loss of status, reputation, and wealth. It leads to divorce also. It leads to issues with intestines, issues with maternal uncles, and it leads to problems with father, and it leads to problems in the professional area as well. However, if Mars, Sun, Venus, Jupiter are utterly strong in the chart, the native will get safeguarded from the ill effects of Rahu, isn't it? But the concerned planet should be utterly strong in the chart, then only native will be able to have control. So these are the main results when Rahu is placed in the second house, when it afflicts its house of placement in the second house. In case Rahu is not afflicting its house of placement in the chart, the person will be a politician, or given that Mars is utterly strong and Rahu is also strong, and such a person will be desirous of earning more and more status in the society, isn't it? Earning more and more status in the society. And in case Lagna rises in a Rahu Nakshatra and Rahu gives afflictions in the chart, Rahu afflicts its house of placement in the chart, that becomes a matter of huge concern for the native, isn't it? It's considered one of the strange problems for the native, isn't it? So under such cases, one is unable to understand what is happening in life. Now, what could be done? You can't remove Rahu from second house, but you can remove the malefic influence of Rahu. If Rahu is afflicting its house of placement, will be involved in lies, and one will be involved in dirty talks also, isn't it? So you can't remove Rahu from second house, but you can remove the malefic influence of Rahu. Then that is possible with the consistent remedies, in terms of charities and other things, consistent and regular remedies for Rahu. And there are other remedies as well. That all depends on the nature of the chart. Every Pisces chart is different, because the conjunctions formed and the aspects, they are quite different. The relative strength of the planets, that is different. So every Pisces is different. All the signs, they have different nature. We can't say both signs are same. So these are the main points. Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon, and get notified for the upcoming videos like this. Thank you. Bye bye.